Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your zodiac reading. Please, if you resonate with this reading, give me a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. If you don't resonate with this reading, check out one of my other readings. I'll have a few zodiac readings up by the end of the summer that you can kind of look at. Also, take what resonates for you and leave the rest. This is a collective reading of all Sagittarius people that will watch this channel now or in the future. So there may be some things that resonate for you and some other things that don't resonate for you. This is a deep dive reading, so it will be kind of a lengthy reading. If you want to skip ahead to certain parts of the video, there will be timestamps below. And other than that, let's just get into it. So I pulled your overall energy already. You have Invite Your Monster to Tea, which is a card that keeps coming out. It came out for Taurus, I think. Taurus, Virgo, and now Sagittarius. So Invite Your Monster to Tea and Conjure the Magic. So I feel like there's something here about, I feel like there may be a block. I think there's something that you're trying to manifest for yourself and that you're working really hard on that may be blocked by something that's unhealed within inside of you. There's some kind of monster inside of you that needs to be healed. And I also felt called to pull cards from the When My Soul Whispers deck. This is a new deck for me. So I pulled some cards and a few of them flew out. You have Expectation. Ooh, I dropped it. And by the way, like the theme of this deck is like a honeybee. Like you can see the honeybee combs on the back. So there's something here about working hard at something. I think you're working really hard at something. So Expectation with the lion. You're working hard at something. You may have some expectations for things to kind of manifest in a certain way. And I kind of get the energy that they aren't all, it's not always like manifesting in the way that you want it to manifest. Spirit is saying, motivate yourself, stay motivated, keep doing it. Keep your eyes on the prize. You have the star here. The star card in the tarot is about healing. So there's definitely some kind of block that you need to heal within you that's having an impact on what it is you're trying to manifest right now. We have determination with the fox. So yeah, like stay determined. There's something, I feel like you're working hard at something that's not really, it's not manifesting what you want it to manifest at the moment. Spirit is saying keep working, be determined. With the fox here it makes me think of like the phrase like sly as a fox. So be smart about how you're doing things as well. We have desire with a moth. I think moths and butterflies stand for transformation. But go for, like if you're working hard at something, think about like how bad you want it. Like, is it really a desire for you? Or like, what is the motivation behind doing it? Is it a monetary motivation? I honestly think that we're moving into an era where being motivated by money isn't going to make you as successful as being motivated by desire, joy, passion, doing things that you really can't stop yourself from doing. Almost like you couldn't stop yourself from doing it even if you tried. I lost the music, so I'm going to try to get it back. Also, I just have to restart my whole computer, which I think is a message for you, because the music stopped playing and it was like the internet was working. Sometimes when that happens on my computer, I have to restart it. So I did that. I was talking about doing like what you desire and really talking about how the world isn't necessarily rewarding like as much like doing stuff just for money. Like there really is like a I feel like a universal energetic push to doing what you really love to do. And then the music stopped when I was talking about that. So there's something about, so there's messages here about pushing through, being determined, being motivated, conjuring the magic. And I feel like there's also a message of like stop, reboot, like so maybe, and I also saw the sly as a fox message in the determination card. So there may be something here about what you're trying to do may not be what you're really meant to be doing right now. Like I would maybe stop and see if you can get some intuitive insight on what it is you should be working on, or maybe you need to stop to work on some healing, to do some inner work. Now, you know, when I say stop, you don't necessarily have to like stop what you're doing. Maybe slow down a little bit, because there may be some, I do see some messages of like inner work that needs to be done here, and there may be some blocks. If you're working really hard on something and having a hard time being successful, there may be some blocks that need to be healed, number one. And number two, you may not be focusing on trying to manifest the right thing for yourself. So I would look at that as well. So for your overall energy, you also got the strength card reverse, which is about, you know, the lack of strength. You have the Queen of Swords, and the Queen is a feminine energy, nurturing energy. She's ruling over truth. She's the receptive energy that rules over truth. So maybe this is about really like sitting back in a receptive mode so you can let the truth of what you really should be doing come in for you. Like, I wonder if you've been like working so hard that you're not really allowing your like intuition to guide what it is you're doing. You're not necessarily taking inspired action. But Spirit does want you to be determined and motivated, right? So don't stop working. But think about what it is you're doing. Like, I would just take a minute to just recalibrate and see, okay, am I still on the path that I'm meant to be on? Does it feel aligned? So if it doesn't feel aligned, you're going to notice that it's like there's a lot of hiccups. You might have a lot of irritation. So if those types of things are happening, and they were, you know what, so I had an experience where something like that was happening. And, you know, I really thought a lot about, okay, like, what do I do in this situation? Should I stop doing the thing or what? And so, like, the solution that I came up with was, no, don't stop doing the thing. Just, like, pull it back a little bit. Don't do it as much. Don't invest so much time and energy into it. So it may be a situation like that, like, right? But, like, recalibrate and see, how does this situation feel for you? Does it seem really easy to do this thing? Does it seem like, man, I'm excited to get up every day and do the thing. Like, I really love doing this thing. Or does it feel like pulling teeth to do it, right? So if you have to motivate yourself to do something you really don't like doing, that is a sign that you're either not meant to do the thing, or maybe you need to pull back on how much you're doing it. So be receptive and let the truth about like where you're meant to be going and what you're meant to be doing come in for you so you can take inspired action on things. You also have the Judgment card reverse. So this is about awakening. This could be a little bit of resistance to awakening. And I always like to say, even if you consider yourself a person who's awakened, there are always more and more layers to awakening that can happen, more and more layers to pull back on the onion, so to speak. And I find that this card comes up every time there's a new layer to uncover. So there may be a new layer to uncover that would help you feel more guided and feel more successful in doing what it is you're doing. because I just feel this energy of resistance with like whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, there's some resistance there. And I also have the Star card reversed. So this is a need for healing, right? So, and the healing that needs to happen may be what's holding you back from uncovering that new level of awakening. And it also, because energy is not confined to time or space, it also may be the block that's keeping you from really like moving forward with whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. Because I think whatever needs to be healed is is causing you to lack strength in certain areas. And once you heal that thing, you're gonna get stronger. You're gonna have strength that you didn't have before. So that is your overall energy. There's a lot of cards that came out for you for the overall energy. So I feel like a lot that needed to be said. Okay, so I pulled some oracle cards for you. I pulled some cards from the Starcodes Astro Oracle deck and also the Heavenly Bodies Astrological deck. And you got Sagittarius with the number 9, which is like endings. And so on the Sagittarius card, it says expand. So maybe expand your thinking. Like maybe you're thinking too small in terms of what you're trying to accomplish. You also got House 12, which is about spirituality, transcendence, karma, service and healing. Sacrificial service and healing. So the 12th house is like the house of hidden things, self-undoing. So, okay. So when it says expand, I feel like there's things that are hidden to you. There may be some wounds there that are hidden to you that are having an effect on what it is you're trying to like do for yourself. So like with the Sagittarius card, I think it's saying to like expand your perception, expand your knowledge of self, right? Because if we don't know that there's something that needs to be healed there, we can't heal it. So I feel like there's something there that like maybe you're not super aware of. We are going to do hidden things later in the reading, so it may uncover that for you. This is another number 9 card. 4 and 5 make 9. And this is the 7th house with relationships. Conjunction, emerging, a union emerging, coming together. So you may be, if you're in a relationship right now, you may be like moving forward in a relationship, taking it to the next step. If you're not in a relationship, you may have a relationship coming in for you. This doesn't have to be necessarily romantic. It can be any kind of relationship coming in for you. It can be any kind of relationship moving into like, a relationship moving into a more healing direction. So take that as it resonates. And you also have the Virgo card with number 6, which is about, self-love, healing. Yeah, so healing. I feel like, so it can be like, spiritual healing, physical healing, mental health healing, all those things. But I feel like there's something that needs to be healed within you that you may not be totally addressing or seeing. It also says digest on the Virgo card. Digest. Yeah, maybe you need to process. There's something that needs to be processed within you. I feel like there's an energy in there that needs to be transmuted, digested. And then you also have Aquarius with originality, philanthropy, and progressive imagining. So Aquarius is a free spirit, right? So maybe you're working towards something that is very like traditional social norms type thing. Maybe you're in college and you're like, I'm gonna get this degree. Maybe it's not something you're super passionate about, but you've been working hard towards this degree. Spirit is definitely not saying to drop out of college if that's the case or anything like that, but like you may be working really hard towards something that's like traditional, and Spirit is saying be a little bit more free spirited. Like don't not do the traditional thing, but don't lock yourself into the traditional thing either, right? If there's something out there, also, the other thing I would say is like, if you don't have anything out there that you love more than what you're doing right now, then like don't stop doing what you're doing right now. Like just explore more things. Like in your free time, like do some meditation or do some, play with artwork, play with music. Like even if you're not good at it, like just do things that are more creative and self-expressive, because that may unlock doors for you that would surprise you. Okay, so for the obstacle, we have 5 of Cups reversed and we have 9 of Wands. So there is a long struggle that you've been through. And I think it has caused you grief. I think you are coming out of that grief. You may be forcing yourself out of that grief without totally healing it. But there's something about, okay. If we have energy, like energy is not confined to time or space. So let's say that you had, I always use family as an example because they're like the first experiences that we have in the world, really, right? The family that we were raised in. So let's say that you had a very difficult upbringing in your family, and instead of really like healing that and transmuting that energy, you just moved on to other things, other relationships, like jobs, like things that you were trying to accomplish for yourself, and you're kind of finding that same energy of struggle in the other things in your life, right? So that energy that hasn't been transmuted within you is kind of like invading other areas of your life, right? So I feel like I feel like the energy of the grief is still there. It's still with you. That's why it's coming out in the reading. But I think you may have a feeling of, like, if I was to ask you about the specific thing, you might say, well, I'm over that. That happened like a long time ago, like, whatever. But we can have a feeling that we've moved on from something, even if we haven't healed it. Because we're really good at, like acting like we're okay when we're not. Like we're really good at doing that, and we're actually really good at like tricking our bodies and tricking our minds into thinking that we're over something that we're not totally over. It's amazing when you do inner work how often the stuff will keep coming back. It'll be less and less magnified, but it'll still keep coming back around because there's more and more and more layers to heal with it. And sometimes I'll be like, well, I dealt with that. Like I dealt with that already, but it keeps coming up because, the thing is, if it all came up at once, it would be too difficult for us to transmute that energy all at once. Like it comes up a little at a time for us to deal with. So personally, I feel like we're always in the process of healing. We're never totally healed. So we're probably always going to have some type of residual energy from the pain that we've been through in our lives. But in terms of it like being pervasive in other areas of our life, it really depends on how strong the energy is of the pain that we're dealing with. And I feel like this pain that I'm talking about is significant enough to impact other areas of your life without you really realizing it. Ooh, so then you have the Tower and the 4 of Cups. Something's going down. Something's going down in your life right now that's kind of forcing you to deal with this. I feel like you may be trying to stay cool, calm, and collected in the middle of the Tower. I mean, you may have healed yourself enough to not really, for there to be a Tower moment and it's not really impacting you that much. But from the energy of the reading and the other cards, I kind of want to say that's not the case. I kind of want to say that there's a Tower, and rather than dealing with it and healing it, you're kind of like, just like, well, that doesn't have anything to do with me, right? You're kind of, your emotions are kind of like, yeah, whatever. which a lot of people do, right? So a lot of people, doing the inner work is difficult to do, and like, so a lot of people avoid doing it until it starts impacting their life. That's when they really say, okay. Because I feel like, it's like you do have the ability to just be like, with towers crashing all around you, you have the ability to just be like, I'm not letting that impact me. Like, okay, right? But it's impacting you enough to have an impact in other areas of your life. So you also have Ace of Wands reverse and the Wheel of Fortune reverse. So there's a resistance to the ending of a cycle. And you have Ace of Wands reversed, which is about, like, this goes back to what I was saying earlier in the reading. I feel like there's something you're trying to do. There's something you're trying to accomplish, and you're working really hard at it. But this pain that we're talking about transmuting is the cycle that needs to be ended, closed out. And there's a resistance to closing out that energy, and it's having a direct impact on your ability to really see success in what it is you're trying to do. Because I think the actions that you're taking aren't like inspired action, or maybe the inspiration isn't coming in for you because there's an energetic block there. About that, let's talk about what are the qualities of Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is a zodiac sign associated with adventure and optimism, known for its vibrant and free-spirited nature. They are often characterized as adventurous, blunt, and optimistic. Sagittarians also have a strong desire for freedom and thirst for knowledge, making them natural explorers and learners. Key traits: adventurous and optimistic. Sagittarians are drawn to the new experiences and have a generally positive outlook on life. Blunt and honest. So direct communication is a trait. Freedom loving and independent. Intellectual and curious. Passionate and energetic. Generous and kind. Clumsy. Potential challenges are impatient and impulsive. Blunt and inconsiderate. Scatterbrained and unfocused. Commitment issues. Overly accommodating. Okay, so how are you embracing your Sagittarian qualities? You have 9 of Wands reversed. You have 2 of Swords with peace. So you're coming out of this long struggle. I mean, you have come out of this long struggle, or you may be just now coming out of it. And you have a little bit more clarity about it. But there's a decision that needs to be made, and that decision is going to bring you peace. And so in terms of how you're embracing, you may have to be blunt and honest with someone about something. Because there's a decision that has to be made, and I feel like this might be like a conversation that needs to be had with somebody, where you really tell them how you feel about something. They put you through a long struggle, and you're kind of like waking up to it, like understanding what really happened there. So we have the Apprentice of Vessels and the Tower reversed. So here's that Tower again. And the Apprentice of Vessels, I'm going to assume, is the Page. Yes, the Apprentice of Vessels is the Page. So that's the Page of Cups. So you have the Page of Cups and you have the Tower reverse. So the Tower card, again, there definitely is a Tower moment going on in your life right now. And you're kind of avoiding the Tower, but I feel like you're kind of a bystander of the Tower. And you're just looking at what's happening and you're learning about learning. You are learning from the positive things that come out of the Tower moment. Maybe this situation before has caused a lot of emotional upheaval. and you're finally in a place where you're like learning how to like not engage with it. And maybe you're learning that, you know what, like I actually can be at peace even if everything is falling down a lot around me. But I do get the feeling, that like even though you're not engaging, there's still energy that needs to be transmuted. So don't just avoid it, right? Like I would say don't engage in the tower moment, you know, but also tower moments are good if they're, you know, like most of the time that they're there to like teach you something about yourself, or, you know, help heal something within you, help get rid of the negative energy, and in order to allow in more positive energy. So like don't purposefully enter a tower moment if you don't have to, but at the same time maybe learn from like what you're seeing with other people in that. Like, I'm not going to act like this. Like, realize that their energy, because it's true, their energy, for the people who are involved in that tower, their energy is directly responsible for what's going down in their life. So you can learn from their experiences without having to be like engaged in a tower moment yourself. So then we have the proclaimer reversed, which is the Emperor reversed. And the Two of Cups. So I also need to talk about why, like how that Page of Cups, Tower reverse, reflects Sagittarius energy. So you're independent. So I feel like you may be like one of the only people, or the only person in this scenario who's kind of like recognize what's going on enough to step out of the tower, to like avoid the tower. Like you're independent, you're a free spirit, just like Aquarius. You're a free spirit, you're blunt. So I think you like know what's going on, and you're like, I'm not gonna be a part of that. And to be able to have the strength to step out of that like that is, I think, the energy of independence, which is a quality for Sagittarians. So you have the Emperor reverse, which is just kind of like a dictator type personality, like a person almost like a know-it-all who's gonna do it his way regardless, even if he's doing it wrong. And then you also have the Two of Cups, which is about, you know, partnership, love. You may have love for someone who is toxic. And that goes again, that. So you're passionate as a Sagittarius. Or, I mean, it could be the other way too. Like you could be the Emperor reverse. You know, and there's a spectrum of energy. I know that my description of the Emperor reversed isn't very lovely, but like it does say on here that you can be blunt and inconsiderate. So it might not be like I'm a dictator type personality. It just, you know, maybe in your relationship, it could be the other way around too. Like, you know, don't shoot me. if you're a lovely person and you're like, Sarah said I was blunt and inconsiderate. I'm just saying that this is a Sagittarius quality. And so I can see a person coming up as the Emperor reverse if they're kind of blunt and inconsiderate. You know, they feel like, because the Emperor is like, you know, he knows the truth about things. Like, you know, the Emperor is a ruler of like all of the elements, right? The world of air, the world of water, the world of earth, the world of what's the other one? Fire. So, you know, like he has truth. He has truth, and he knows what actions to take in his upright form. But sometimes we can feel like, and this, we see this all over the place. People feel so sure and steadfast in their truth that they will fight to the ends of the earth. And they can almost be kind of like, yeah, like inconsiderate, because they feel like, well, I know the truth, you don't know the truth, you don't know what you're talking about. So this could either be describing another person or it can be describing you, but I feel like either way, you may be in some kind of relationship with this person. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic relationship. Could be a relative. You know, maybe every time you go over their house, politics comes up into the conversation, and they're so sure they know what they're talking about, right? Or something like that. Or again, this could be you, who's kind of like that. Like, I know what I'm talking about. You know, like, you're dumb. Sorry. In politics, we are very cutthroat in politics. It's like, you're stupid. Like, I mean, I've been that way too. I'm not really that way anymore, but I used to be that way. No, I mean, obviously I have opinions on certain topics and stuff like that, but I've kind of let go of like people's opinions on things meaning something about their character, right? Like, we take it to like a place where it's like, if you believe this, it says this about your character. And that's true to an extent. I'm not gonna go down the rabbit hole of that, all that, but basically you can't control other people. The only person you can control is you. So you kind of have to like just let go of all that. Like, just treat people with loving kindness and hope that that energy, or trust that that energy will rule the day, that eventually it will win out. Love will win out. And that's where I'm at. I'm not having political discussions with anybody. So you also have Eight of Wands. So this is a lot of energy coming in swiftly. So passionate and energetic. You may just be very, you just may be a very energetic person, right? So that's how you're embracing the Sagittarius qualities. I also feel like, you know, Eight of Wands can also be like a messenger card, because I believe it's like ruled by Mercury or whatever. But like, it can be talking about messages. So again, this may also be about like the bluntness and the like blunt and honest. Don't shoot me, because it's what the internet says. So blunt and honest. There may be messages that are either coming in for you or going out they could either be blunt and honest, or they could be blunt and inconsiderate. Both of those things are Sagittarius qualities. It's just the light end of the spectrum and the dark end of the spectrum. Okay, so let's look at how you're resisting your Sagittarius qualities. You have the moon reverse, which is about being lost and not surrendering, basically not surrendering to the universe. You have Three of Pentacles, which is about building with a community. So I feel like you are trying to build something. Yeah, I feel like maybe you don't impatient and impulsive. So intellectual and curious. So I feel like maybe that's what you're resisting. Intellectual and curious. I feel like maybe you may get it in your head that like, I'm doing this way, and you may not listen to like people trying to direct you or like guide you in a different way. It's like you're the moon reverse, right? You're lost with something, and you're not surrendering. Like, you're not relying on guidance. But you're trying to build, but you're working with a group of people. You're working on a project with a group of people. You're kind of lost. And you're not really like asking for help or accepting in help. And that resists Sagittarius energy because Sagittarians are intellectual and curious. Not to say you're not intellectual, but you know, they're curious enough to find like the right way to do something. You know what I mean? I feel like you may not be super flexible in that way. You have Six of Wands reversed. This is about not recognizing. So like, yeah, the moon. You're not recognizing that you're lost. The moon card again. You're not recognizing that you're lost. And I think people are trying to help guide you. And you're not listening to that guidance. Don't shoot the messenger. These are the cards that are coming out. Eight of Swords reversed and the Fool. The Fool. So this is about going on a new adventure, and Eight of Swords reversed is about. So Eight of Swords is about being like trapped in a situation, like feeling trapped in a situation, and when it's reversed, it's kind of like you realize that you're not actually trapped in a situation. So you may be lost and you may be feeling trapped in a situation. Or I would say you may have felt trapped in a situation, because I do think you're moving forward and starting a new journey with the Fool card upright. And the Eight of Swords is reversed. So I feel like you're kind of coming out of the feeling of being trapped in a situation. Like you're seeing the situation you were in. Like I almost feel like there's an energy in the middle of, this is weird, but there's this card, which is talking about the moon, being lost, and needing to recognize that. I almost feel like there is a energy in between that energy and this energy of Eight of Swords reverse. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. Eight of Swords reverse and the Fool. Like I almost feel like there's a moment, like you had a moment where you did wake up, you did recognize. And so the resistance, how is this resisting Sagittarius energy? Well, you know, you guys are adventurous and optimistic. There's also scatterbrained and unfocused, which is like a challenging energy from Sagittarius. And this energy is not scatterbrained and unfocused right here. This energy has woken up to the fact that they're trapped in something, a situation, a loop, and they're taking steps to move forward from it. So that's a resistance of that scatterbrained and unfocused energy. And I would also say, yeah, we'll keep it to the scatterbrained and unfocused. These are terms that came from the internet. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just comparing the reading to the qualities I see on the internet. Okay? I didn't make them up. Let's move on to hidden things. Now we're going to move on to advice. Can I also say that there's a few readings right now. Like the energy right now is very blunt and honest. Like the readings, there's a few readings that I felt were not harsh, but honest to a point that may make some people uncomfortable. Because it's calling certain things out. But I think that is the energy in the collective right now, honestly. I think everybody is being forced to really look at themselves in a different way, because there's a lot that needs to change. And in order for things to change on a collective level, it needs to change on an independent level, right? People need to do the inner work. The macro reflects the micro. So nothing, literally nothing is going to change on a macro level. If you're looking at politics and you're upset by everything that's happening, nothing is going to change on a macro level if we don't all individually change on a micro level. So looking at all these things, even though it may be uncomfortable, like even if it may be like harsh to hear a character trait, even if it's just a random Sagittarius character trait, like it may be harsh to hear yourself be characterized as like blunt and inconsiderate or something like that. But we need to look at the areas where it's okay that we're like that sometimes. Like, so first off, we have to accept that about ourselves. And then we have to be willing to really look at like, well, why am I that way? Why do I not listen when I feel like I'm lost on something? Like a good example of that, an old joke from the 90s, Home Improvement, would be like the husband who wants to build things. He works really hard at building things all the time, but is lost a lot. Like if it weren't for Al, he wouldn't be able to build anything. Like he's constantly going to the emergency room because he's hurting himself all the time. Like he's lost. But he keeps going forward. He doesn't really listen to people. He keeps doing his thing. And that's kind of the energy that I'm feeling. So that's kind of putting it in like more of a lighthearted way, hopefully. But that's the energy that I'm feeling here. So let's look at the advice. Okay, so we're looking at advice here. The Fool came out twice, but I'll go over that. We have Justice and the Four of Vessels. So the advice is to really like weigh things out. Just don't go like full force into one area. You know what? Like, I think for a lot of you, this may be about like politics. Not for all of you, but the thing is that we're getting involved with certain ways of thinking without really knowing the whole story, even investigating the whole story. There's a lot of lies being told. We barely know where to look for accurate information because it's not even always available to us. And that's happening, in my opinion, on both sides of the aisle. I don't think one side or the other is fully responsible for that. I think that there's one side, I lean one side more than the other. There's a side, I'm always going to lean towards love. Oops, sorry, kicking my table. I'm always going to lean towards love. So, that'll tell you, hopefully you can figure out what side of the aisle I'm leaning towards, right? But I do believe that both sides of the aisle, there are lies being told, and there's a lot of things that we don't know. And like, I think that anytime people get into like one thought form or another and just think, well, everyone else is idiots, or like, all these things that we tend to think, right? We're not really weighing out, like, how many people in this country are really weighing out both sides? And I don't want to get super political. I mean, I'm not afraid to, but that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to heal. And I don't want to do readings in a biased way where, so I really stay out of it, because I literally don't want to be triggered by anything politically, and I'm not. I don't want to, like, if I have a Republican voter sitting in front of me, I don't want to be thinking some kind of, horrible thing about them. Same thing for a Democratic person. I don't want to be thinking some kind of horrible thing about them. Like, I really want to be like even killed. So because my job and my mission right now is to heal through tarot, and I can't do that if I have a biased opinion. So, but these cards are saying you really need to learn how to like balance the information that's coming in for you. And it doesn't necessarily mean politics is just one example of this. I'm feeling that energy. I'm sure at least one person that listens to this reading is going to be able to relate to what I'm saying right now. But take it as it resonates, because this doesn't have to be about politics. It could just be about an issue in your life that you're not really balancing You're not thinking about both sides of it, right? So the advice is to balance it and to be more hopeful, to see your blood. You know, you have 4 of Cups reverse, which 4 of Cups has come out twice in your reading, right? So there's this feeling of like not recognizing the blessings that are there for you, even though you have quite a few blessings. 4 cups is 4 blessings, right? In the tarot, anyway. So when the 4 of Cups is reversed, you're coming out of that energy of like not really recognizing your blessings, right? So I think what it's saying is that if you balance things out more, you'll come out of an energy of apathy, like feeling kind of meh, not being able to like see the blessings that you really have. And as I talk through this, I kind of feel like I may be talking to, if this is a political thing, I may be talking to people who are actually more on the left, because there's so many people who are so upset right now, and they're very fixed in certain things that they're upset about, right? We'll just put it that way. Which understandably, I get that. I get it totally. But also there are blessings that you have in your life, and if you're really, really focused on all these negative things, you can't necessarily see the blessings that are right in front of you. So I think the advice for you is to try to not look at things, try to look at a different perspective if you can, and weigh things out in a way that you haven't been weighing it out before. I think that's the advice, because it's going to help you to come out of a feeling of apathy. You're going to feel better about yourself, about the world, about your life. And again, this doesn't have to be political for everybody. It can be, I don't even like to go there. Obviously, I'm being encouraged to go there because I don't like to go there. Wheel of Fortune reversed and the Fool. So the Fool has come out for you twice now. There's a new journey that you're going on. And there's an ending of the old cycle that needs to happen before you can go on that new journey. And the ending of the old cycle is not necessarily going to be pleasant. And so there's a resistance to that. And so, like, again, I have to talk about the political again, because the macro reflects the micro. So this can be also happening in you guys' own personal lives. But a really good example of it is what is going on politically, because there's an ending of a cycle right now that's going on, and it's not pleasant, right? There's tower moments left and right. All of this stuff is falling down. There's towers, right? All this stuff is happening, but it's happening in order to send us in a new direction, right? There's new things coming in. There's good things coming in. But before we get there, we have to allow the cycle to end. And we all are part of ending the cycle. Think about your emotional state. Like, what are you triggered by? Because all of our feelings of hatred and all of our, feeling human emotions isn't a bad thing, right? But we always want to look at that and say, okay, what does that say about me? What does that say about what needs to be healed within me? Why am I getting triggered right now? Because like in reality, I'm never going to meet certain politicians face to face. I'm never meeting them face to face. They're never coming in my house. They're never talking to my kid. Like they have nothing to do with my life. But we get so caught up in these situations. Any famous person is like that. Pop stars can be like that. So again, that's just one example. It can mean so many different things for so many different people. But I think a lot of people who are in this reading, it is about the political stuff. And so really look at like how you're being triggered by it. Really realize that things that are happening for a reason, because we're closing out a cycle collectively and we're going into a new cycle, and the new cycle is going to be positive. But until we get to that cycle, we have to close out the old cycle, which is uncomfortable. And the more you can understand about that, the more at peace you'll be. That's just for some of you, obviously. The Fool came out again. It's the third time the Fool's come out in this reading. So the Fool came out again, and the Justice card again. The Justice card again, and the Fool card. So you really need to like weigh things out, like examine things closer than you have been. And you may think you have been, but you may have been looking at it from one side. You may not have been looking at it from both sides. This doesn't have to be about politics. This could be about your personal life. So take it as it resonates. But there's something in your life that you're not really evaluating fully, and you're coming up with a conclusion. And it's causing you to be, you're stuck in your opinion, you're stuck in your ways, you can tend to be a little inconsiderate to other people, right? So we don't want to be that way. So figure out what's triggering you, like what areas are triggering you to be that way, and how can you change that? That's the inner work that needs to be done. Also, I want to say, take this as it resonates. I mean, it is a Sagittarius reading. So if you're the Sagittarius listening to this reading, I'm probably talking about you. But take it as it resonates, because maybe you are super honest and open, and there's someone in your life who's not. Like, you know, it's my job to like look at the cards and analyze the cards and read what I see in the cards. But, you know, I'm just a tarot reader online, and I don't necessarily know, you know, the ins and outs of what's going on in everybody's personal life. So take it as it resonates. Okay, so hidden things. We have the Queen of Pentacles reverse and the Four of Cups reverse. Four of Cups again. So there's something about being hopeful about so the Queen of Pentacles reverse. That's interesting. I mean, this could be someone's mother. It's a hidden thing. Maybe you don't like somebody who represents the Queen of Pentacles reverse to you. But you might be hopeful. Maybe you're hopeful. Maybe a hidden thing is that you're hopeful that this person can change. Queen of Pentacles reverse would be, you know, like a feminine energy, receptive energy that is like nurturing the physical realm, but this shadow aspect of this feminine energy is coming out. I feel like this may be someone in your life someone you're hopeful that someone who has acted shadowy towards you in your life will change. But see, it's a hidden thing. So you may be like, man, screw that person. I don't want to deal with them. Like, you may, if I were to ask you, you'd be like, man, I'm not dealing with that person anymore. But a hidden thing is that you're secretly hoping that this person will change. That's interesting. Who's the Queen of Pentacles? So we have Five of Pentacles reversed. This is coming out of an energy, an energy of lack. And you have, is this 3 or 5? Are you kidding me? This is Five of Pentacles reverse and Five of Coins reverse. So it's like a magnification of that always blows me away. The same card from two different decks in the same position. They're both reversed. And they're literally laying on top of each other. That is crazy. So there's an energy of coming out of lack. Yeah, like I feel like there's a situation that you've just kind of determined, like whatever it is, what it is. And secretly, you really want the energy of the situation to change. You know, you would really like let's just say this is like your mom or you're, you know, a nurturer in your life or whatever. The Queen of Pentacles reversed, I mean, you may be like, man, I'm not talking to this person anymore. Like, I'm done with this person. But secretly you're like, man, I wish she would really change, or he, because it doesn't have to be a female. It's just a feminine energy. But yeah, there's really a strong energy of coming out of lack. And this could also be like, you know, we were talking about working hard towards a goal. This could also be monetary. You could have a really strong, but that, I don't know that would really be hidden. I mean, I guess if it's like that you are coming out of lack, it's gonna happen. Maybe that's the message to you, and that's a hidden thing. You're kind of sitting in this energy of like, when is my abundance gonna start flowing? And the hidden thing is that you are coming out of lack. Also, you may be coming out of lack in a way that you don't recognize as coming out of lack, right? You may be, when you hear abundance coming in, you may be thinking like money or something like big and palpable. But it may be just the thing, like maybe you're more at peace than you used to be. Maybe you've healed some stuff that you needed to heal. Like, we can come out of lack in ways that aren't monetary all the time. So take that for what it is. Whatever it is, though, it's something that you're not recognizing. You know, like, and think to yourself, am I waiting for my abundance to come in and not recognizing that there's some abundance that has already come in for me? Like, what blessings in my life do I have that I'm not like recognizing? You know what I mean? Or if it's about a person, you can think like, am I really done with that person, or am I secretly hoping that they're going to change? Okay, so then you have Temperance reversed and Ten of Coins reversed. So there's a lack of balance between the physical and the spiritual. You have Ten of Coins reversed. This is a lack of abundance. Yeah, so the hidden thing, I think you are waiting for something to come in for you, waiting for some kind of abundance to come in. It might be monetary. It said in the beginning that you were working really hard at something. But what's hidden from you is that there's an imbalance between the physical and the spiritual, and that imbalance is directly impacting the energetic ability for that money to flow in for you, or for that abundance to flow in for you. There's a connection between the spiritual imbalance and the abundance that you're wanting to come in for you. So try to connect spiritually more. You know, also grounding is very spiritual too. Like, because you want to have one foot on earth and one foot in the spiritual, right? You don't want to be two in the spiritual or two on earth. You want to be balanced. So yeah, right now there's an imbalance, and I don't know which direction that is. I don't know whether you're like too spiritual or too earthly. If I had to guess, I'd say too earthly though. Just from the cards that have come out. You have Five of Wands reverse and King of Swords. So King of Swords is like a master of truth. Five of Wands is chaos. And King of Swords. Did I say King of Swords? So why is that a hidden thing? I think there's a truth coming in that's gonna, maybe in your personal life, there's some kind of chaos, either in your personal life or on the macro. I'm kind of being reminded again of what's happening on a collective level right now. I think that there's a lot of truth that's going to come in, that's going to kind of like, that's going to end a lot of this chaos that's happening in the government. But if it's happening on the macro level, it's happening on the micro level too. So take it as it resonates for you. But that's a hidden thing, because I don't think you realize that there is truth coming in. There's a truth bomb coming. It's a truth bomb coming. And then the last one we see the Chariot reverse. This is stalled energy. Three of Pentacles. Whatever you're trying to build is being stalled energetically. You really need to look at where you're sitting energetically, what kind of energy you're putting out in the world. Because right now, the way the world is set up energetically, astrologically, people are not getting rewarded. It's not like people are getting punished. That's not what's happening. It's just that through law of attraction, you're attracting in the energy that you're sitting at. So if there's something inside your being energetically that's not of love and positive energy, you're going to attract negative things to you, or you're going to stall your universal energy. And whatever you're working on is not going to come in for you. There's a direct connection between your energetic state and what you're trying to manifest for yourself. So if things are going slowly for you, I would think about, maybe why that might be. Meditate on that. Think about that. Think like, especially if you're like, I think my energetic state is perfectly fine. Like, trying to do something to figure out there's something in your life that is causing the energy of your life to be stalled. And so if it's someone else, the only reason that someone else would affect your energy is if you were directly involved with that someone else. But it sounded like early in the reading that you're kind of outside the unit of people. You're kind of like watching the towers from afar. So then that makes me feel like this may be like your own energy that's kind of halting up this stuff. But take it as it resonates. My job is just to be honest about the reading. Don't shoot the messenger. Not all readings are this blunt and honest. They're honest, but some readings are kind of difficult to deliver, if I'm being honest, because I want people to feel happy and uplifted. When they leave a reading and like with something to work on, you want to have something to work on, but I don't ever want people to leave a reading feeling like bad about themselves or anything like that. So I hope that none of you feel bad about yourself when you leave this reading, because I'm just reading what the cards are saying. I'm just doing my job. And also, if I ever say there's something in a reading that makes you feel bad, it's a collective reading. So what does that tell you? You're not the only one. So feel good about that. So the outcome for Sagittarius. You have Temperance again. Balance. You need to find balance between the physical and the spiritual. And this is the Empress is a nurturing energy, a receptive energy. So yeah, I kind of feel like, because she's also the counterpart to the Emperor, which came out like earlier in the reading. So I feel like if that Emperor reverse was you earlier in the reading, I think you coming into balance spiritually and physically is going to make you more like the Empress, more receptive, more abundant. She's fertile. She has lots of great ideas. Temperance again. You have Temperance reversed. Temperance is coming out for you today. And the Seven of Cups. So this is clarity. Seven of Cups reversed with Temperance reversed. You're going to have clarity about where you are imbalanced. You are imbalanced somewhere. And I think that your outcome is that you're going to find clarity about what is making you imbalanced in this way. Because it keeps coming out. That card. Don't shoot the messenger. So we have Hangman reverse, and we have Ten of Pentacles. So Ten of Pentacles is about abundance. Hangman reverse is about, it's either a very stubborn energy of like, I'm really not trying to change my perspective on this, or, which I don't think is true based on the other cards that came out. I think you are going to change your perspective on something. So the other thing that the Hangman reverse can mean is that don't spend too much time. Don't spend too much time in that energy of like searching for a different perspective. And I say, and so like searching for a different perspective is not bad, but what I say when I mean that is it can cause a lot of confusion when we think like, oh, I'm wrong about this thing, then like our whole world can crumble. Like that can shatter the ego in a way that leaves us a little destabilized. Like for instance, if I am in love with this pop star, like this is a good for instance. Say I loved P. Diddy, like he was my favorite rapper, favorite artist. Not true, I did not. But say he was. Say I was a P. Diddy super fan, which I'm sure there are some P. Diddy super fans out there. When the stuff came out about his trial, that was probably destabilizing for a lot of people because, I mean, maybe not their whole lives, but when it comes to, this is my favorite artist, what do I think now? I'm sure you have a lot of people who can't like fathom that he would have done something like that. And they're like, oh, they're doing him wrong, doing him dirty. You have other people who are like, can't believe I ever listened to him, and they may feel very betrayed. So my point is that when we feel very sure about something and then we start to see that, well, wait a minute, like we start to see that other perspective, it can be very destabilizing. So my point was, don't stay in that energy too much, or like maybe go in and out of the Hangman energy. Maybe spend some time there looking at, like, don't look at every article. Say it's about Trump. Let's go back to that. Say it's about Trump. Don't like binge on every article trying to like gain a new perspective, right? Like try one. Maybe try an hour a day looking at a different news site than you're used to looking at, right? Like get different perspectives slowly, because if you start to find stuff out that really like breaks, like shatters your perspective of a person, that you really like idolize or whatever, and again, let this resonate to whatever, like take it as it resonates, right? Because it may not be about politics at all. It may not be about P. Diddy. Like, take it as it resonates in your life. But don't stay in that energy too long. But I will say that what I get from these cards is that the resistance to finding a different perspective on something, whatever it is directly tied to your abundance. It's directly tied. I don't know why I keep saying a tide. It's directly tied to your ability to gain the abundance that you're looking for, in whatever form that is taking, whether it's money, whether it's love, whether it's whatever it is, whatever you're working hard to gain, it's being held up by your perspective in some kind of way. So that is the end of your reading, Sagittarius. Don't shoot the messenger. I just say what I see in the cards. Spirit has a message to get across, and I'm the conduit for those messages. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And you can check me out on Wednesday. I'm trying to be more consistent on Wednesdays about doing my live streams. But I plan on doing a live stream starting at 2 on Wednesday to do the all sign zodiac reading. I also have 2 all sign zodiac readings on the channel already. So if you want to check out the Sagittarius readings from those live streams, you can do that. And other than that, ta-ta!